Okay, it is time. It's time to discuss the week's hottest topics in our latest edition of Hot Talk. Joining me from Dateline NBC, it's correspondent Andrea Canning is here. She's got a new line of office accessories available at Michael's stores.
That's me.
Okay, no.
I do have a new baby though on the way.
You do? Another baby. Good for you. Wow.
But no office accessories.
Her office accessories available nationwide at Michael's stores. Say hello to our friend Sabrina Soto. And he is CNN contributing and ESPN senior writer. Give it up for LZ Granderson. Nice. Okay. This story's been floating around for a moment. Mark Wahlberg is seeking a pardon from 2 hate crimes he committed back in the 80s. In the first one, he threw a rock and shouted, "Kill the N-words," to a group of 4th graders. One of the victims, a girl, thinks he should not be pardoned. She's also left with a lifetime mark on her face. So every time she looks in the mirror, she's reminded of this. And in the second offense, Mark knocked out a Vietnamese man and shouted racial slurs. The question is, do we think that he should be pardoned? Mark says that he's a changed man. Sabrina, we're going to start with you.
No.
Okay. Okay.
No way. First of all, it would set such a bad precedent to say, again, here's another time that a celebrity is getting special treatment. Not only that, but it's also showing kids that, you know, when you do something when you're 16 years old, it's going to follow you. You cannot rewrite your own history. And from what I understand, he's asking for the pardon so that he can get a liquor license for his venture. Unlike other people who have criminal records, he can still get a job and make a good living, which he has been.
Yes, yes. What do you say, LZ?
Well, you know, I think about the time period when we first got to know who he was, right?
Right.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Right.
Stole black people's music while still hating black people. That's the first thing I think about. It's like, you were with the Funky Bunch, surrounded by black folks, while a few years prior to that, you were throwing rocks and yelling the N-word at people.
Let me just say this, because I went to college in Boston, and one of the things that we as black people were always warned is don't go to South Boston because it's racist as hell there. That's where he grew up, but I do think that a leopard can change its spots. Don't be mad at me, but I really do. Tell me, Andrea.
No, I agree with you. I think it was obviously how he was raised.
Yes.
And let's face it, Mark Wahlberg really went out into the world, met lots of different races and was introduced to different cultures.
Yes.
And probably, I'm hoping, which is what we all want, is that he changed.
Yes.
I think he has changed.
And by the way, but a pardon is not an exoneration. No one is saying he didn't do this. No one is erasing it from his record. A pardon is just giving him certain civil liberties that he had before he got in trouble.
Reasons why he talked about it, one was the liquor license, but then also, too, he said he wanted to be able to help at-risk children.
And he also said that he wanted to be one of those volunteer cops like Shaq does, and you can't do that stuff.
Right.
And there is a way to help at-risk kids even when you do have a record. And as far as the license, he wants to be able to get more of those Wahlburgers, which, you know, I say, let him try one good time, but don't bother the red tape in Boston, the government and the authorities and stuff like that, if it doesn't happen the first time around. Listen, he's got children now. He also had a bunch of nasty tattoos all over him, which if you've seen recent pictures of him, he's gotten all the tattoos removed, and he wants to show his kids and other at-risk youth better.
And look, he's putting the spotlight on himself by bringing this up.
You're the one who always says, if you wouldn't be talking about it, we wouldn't even know this. Like, he's bringing light to what he did.
That's a good thing, though. This is who I was, this is who I am now.
Right. If you're going to have the spotlight, I would like to see him say, this is a part of our law, our criminal justice system, that perhaps is flawed and needs to be addressed. He's in a position to use his platform to not just to change things for himself, but to actually get in touch with people like Rand Paul, get in touch with Cory Booker, men who are trying to address the criminal justice system, so that it's not just him being benefited by this change, but actually helping the at-risk children.
Maybe he will.
Children, though.
All right, let's move along to the next. He wants to help them even further, and there's only but so far he can go with the record, not expunge, or you know, a pardon. All right, this story really has me heated because I hope that I'm not the only one standing alone in this. Are you a parent?
No.
Are you a parent?
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
I have one 18-year-old.
Okay. There's a teacher in hot water for allegedly taking it upon herself to style one of her students' hair and then posted it on Facebook. The photo went viral, and here's what the teacher wrote to go along with the picture. One of my students came to school today with her hair full of knots, lint, and ridiculously tangled. It just broke my heart so badly that I refused to let her leave school the same way she came. When I finished, she looked at herself and said, "Oh, so pretty." It is unclear whether the teacher had the parents' permission or not. But let's just go on the assumption she didn't have the parents' permission. I'm fighting. How dare you make me feel like a bad child? And how do you know, or a bad parent, and also how do you know that my family is not into the natural look? And if she had a little bit of lint in it, that might be because it's 30 degrees out and the kids wear wool hats. All you have to do is pull the lint. Andrea, what do you think?
Well, I think, I don't like the part where the mom might have been made to feel bad. But I do like the teacher taking the personal interest in the child. I have 4 girls. Some days they go out of the house, their hair looks terrible.
Yeah, but that's white hair. You fluff
I know,
and go.
but it looks bad. Still, if my teacher did something special to my daughter's hair, I would think, oh, that's so sweet. She took the time to take a personal interest in my child. You know, at least she didn't put the name of the child. She didn't show her face. Now, I do feel a little bad for the mom.
I don't feel bad for the mom. I feel bad for the child because the picture was posted on Facebook.
Her face,
So-
her
face
so
was
even-
on it.
No.
Even though her face may not be on there, her classmates know who she is.
Yeah.
The other people in the school,
They're
the
too
other people
young.
in the school, they're
They're not
not
on
too
Facebook.
young. If you're
Their
young,
moms aren't too young, though. The whole
That's
school is
true.
talking
You guys
about
were
how moms
always
are.
talking about teachers going and taking the next step, not just educating our kids. And here it
I
comes
don't have a problem with her doing the hair. I have a problem with posting it on Facebook. If you did a good deed, then do a good deed. You don't need to post it on Facebook.
She didn't need to post it, but I think her heart was in the right place.
I'm mad that she did it, and I'm mad that she posted it. And even if she never posted it, if my child came home and her hair was intricately done, the first thing that I would think is, how dare the teacher? Next thing I would think is, oh my gosh, it does look beautiful, but how much did she try to talk and extract from my daughter while she's dividing her hair? You know, getting your hair done is a very intimate thing. So, is Daddy in the house or not? Oh. So, Mommy and
No,
Daddy.
that is true. That is very, very true.
Oh,
That is
no,
very
dear
true.
Sabrina, when you have children, you will find out teachers
You're right.
use little kids to extract information about the goings on in the household. And you teachers, we love you, but you do it all the time. I'm on to you.
And the other thing, too, is that if you look at her hair, I have locks, right? I don't let just anybody do my hair because you're sitting there for quite a long time as this person's putting their energy in you, doing your hair, talking back and forth. So she did spend a significant amount of time with that little girl, and I am curious as to what the conversation was like and exactly what was being
Maybe
said.
she was singing to her. You don't know. We weren't there.
I'm curious. That's what I'm saying.
I think what matters in the end is that the teacher cared, and I do think the teacher
I
I
cared.
do think the teacher cares.
I agree.
Yes.
Stay in your lane, teachers. Okay, the next story. There's a 5-year-old boy who recently was sent home from school with a note from a classmate's mother, which included a bill for $24 for failing to show up to the little boy's birthday party after the parents RSVP'd yes. The father refused to pay. The case could be heading to court. I have a very strong opinion about this, but I want to hear what everybody here says. LZ?
All right, so my first thought was, as a dad, I have done these big kind of parties where you have to pay in advance for X number of kids. If you RSVP, that means I've paid for you in advance. If you're not going to show, then call a brother. Let me know. Because then I can either put someone else in that place, or I can say, instead of paying for 15 meals, I just need to pay for 14.
Right.
My biggest problem was that you sent your message via your child. Call me up, adult to adult, and say, this is the problem that we've had. How can we resolve this? Don't give the message to the little boy and have the little boy then come home with the message. That was my problem.
I do forget. Like, I forgot to take my kids to a party one time, and I felt horrible about it.
You should have.
You know, I did. I gave them an extra nice gift and like wrote a note and everything because I felt so bad. But like, I have a 2-prong approach to this one. If I don't know these people very well, I am totally blowing them off. You put that thing in my kid's backpack, just get away. Like, I don't
So
need
you're
to
not
deal
going to
with
pay it and then blow them off?
Yeah, exactly. Now, if I knew them and I was like friendly with them, sort of, I would pay them, and then I'd give them the cold shoulder.
Okay.
No, but first of all, in this case, they couldn't get a hold of the parents of the boy who was having the party. They didn't have any contact information.
Yes, they did. They
No,
RSVP'd.
didn't.
They
No, I know,
RSVP'd.
but okay, this is what happened.
Invitation or
The day of, they gave their son a choice. Do you want to go to this party or do you want to go to your grandparents' house? And he chose to go to the grandparents' house. The parents then couldn't get a hold of the birthday boys,
Wait a minute.
so they didn't go. I would say, I think that woman needs to get a life. And you know what? Pay her, but pay her in pennies. 2,400 pennies, right?
No,
on her birthday.
I say, you know, depending on your household, $24 is a lot. If you've got 10 kids who've done the same thing, that's a lot of money. As a mother who's had to in the past RSVP for my son to things, I would not only pay, and I'm not offended by the receipt, by the way, because that's more effective than you calling me and saying you owe me $24. Like, I want to see what I owe the $24. I'd pay the $24. I wouldn't complain about it. And depending on how close my son already was with this boy, would be whether they still play with one another. If the boys are close, this would not affect me. Because as a parent, I know what it's like to be stiffed after you put your money out for something.
But you know what? Stuff happens. You got to roll with it. There's lots of things as parents we want to say to people, but you got to hold it back
But what about
sometimes.
the message you're sending to your
your
child?
children.
If you send that message to your child that, oh, you rather do
The
this
message
instead,
is
then there's no commitment. You don't follow those commitments.
You want to know what the message is? You keep your word. Your
Yeah,
word.
I agree with
That's
you.
what
I
Oh
agree
yes,
with
you
you.
keep your word.
Right.
I don't blow
Okay.
things off
Yes.
on purpose.
Yes.
I've done it once by accident.
Well,
I would
shame
never
on
do
you.
it on purpose.
Shame on you.
I'm such a bad mother.
Thank you so much to all my panelists. For more information on my panelists, go to wendyshow.com.